if you have, let's say you have a big business deal going down, and you feel anxious about it. The difference between the seeker and the sage is the seeker would say, I shouldn't feel this way, because the sage wouldn't feel that way. And what I'm pointing to is the sage, if it's their nature of the body-mind mechanism, would feel anxiety. The sage could say, I have $1 million deal going on here. It's a big deal. I'm anxious about it. I might wake up at night. I might wake up early. I might have insomnia because it's the nature of that body-mind mechanism. It doesn't have anything to do with greed or earning the money. It's just important to the sage. And so anxiety will be there in the form of pain. And since the sage will say, yes, I'm anxious, it's there, it's important to me, and that's it. And there's no other, it should be otherwise.
Thanks for revisiting that, because I do remember, you went through that all before. I'll probably have to hear it another 1,000 times. It seems really clear again. That was the last time, yeah, we talked.
And
came back to that point.
Right, and what happens, and this happened to somebody just the other day when I was doing a Skype session with them. They had an experience of something similar to what we're talking about, where they had anxiety, but there was also an understanding that there was peace behind it, or underneath it. They put it like underneath it, and I go, that's the closest thing I can describe that the sage would experience. Because the ego, again, dichotomizes. It's either anxious or peaceful. And in the experience of the sage, there's both happening at the same time.
The thing about disillusionment is a big thing, you know, everybody, a lot of different traditions talk about disillusionment, and I've always thought of it as, you know, this world isn't real, you know, whatever this world is, and, you know, the inner world is real, and I just realized really maybe the only illusion is that we're in control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of the bone of it more than, you know, like, oh, well, you know, all this, you know, the Maya and all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And with Maya, it's not that the world is unreal, but so let's back up and look at an illusion. Illusion where we said there's a snake and it's superimposed on the rope. So there is something underneath for the snake to be superimposed upon. If there was no rope, there would be no snake. So what happens is this world, when they're referring to as an illusion, is it doesn't have any independent existence from the underlying reality. So we see the snake and we say, oh, the snake is unreal. Well, it's real in that we see it, and it's real as in our consequences because we see the snake and our heart's beating. Right? So we can say, what do you mean? It's real. But it's unreal in that if it didn't have that underlying reality underneath it to support it, it wouldn't be there also. So again, we like to say either the world's real or it's unreal.
Is it sort of like it's something's happening but we don't know what it is? I mean, like the world is there in some, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what the question is, but there's something there, you know, and a lot of my spiritual question has been, well, that's not really there, whatever the inner world is, what's happening.
The world is here, and you see the world as however you see it in that moment, and you see it as There's a tree, there's a rock, and a bench. But at the same time, there's an understanding that it's all consciousness. So, the wave and ocean analogy is that you can focus and just think, oh, what it's a great ocean. It's looking at the whole ocean, or you can look at the waves coming and going. That's a big wave. If you're a surfer, you're focused on the big waves and when you're going to catch a big wave. You're not focused on the whole ocean. And when the sage looks at the ocean, it sees the wave, it sees the whole ocean, it's understanding there that everything is water, H2O. It sees that the energy is there that makes the waves start off small and then crash into the shore. All that stuff is happening simultaneously.